But if you ever want to be alone, and I mean really alone, where there's literally nowhere to turn if anything goes wrong, this is the sort of place. Hello, we're here at the Cheviots today, and how lucky have we been with the weather. It's rained almost all month, and we decided to just take a punt, and I think we're going to be lucky. It's cold, it was only 7 degrees in the car, so we've got everything with us. We've got hat, gloves, extra layer if we need it. Just coming into the little market town of Wooler in Northumberland, and the reason I'm just filming this street is because it's quite easy to miss the turn that you need for the valley to lead to Cheviot. It's this first left here. It's actually called Cheviot Street, and you want to be up here, avoiding wanderers. It's the Heart Hope Valley, this little single track road for about a mile. Don't be put off by the cars that you see parked as you drive along this little single track road. Keep going till you get to this point. It's fairly obvious when you get here, just keep going. You're almost at the end of this little road, and this is the starting point. This could be one of the final walks that I do with Swedish Tony while he's back. We've had a bit of a compendium of walks, and this is one of the nicest valleys in Northumberland. It's the Heart Hope Valley. We've stopped at a little place called Langley Ford, and it's surrounded by ancient woodland, this whole valley. We keep walking along this path. At the bottom of the valley, the little river's to the left, and then eventually we're going to swing right and go up into the hills. And this is a 17th century farmhouse. You don't take that little bridge, you take that path there, still on the north side of the river. We've just emerged from the wood, the forest down there, and as you can see behind me, it gets a lot more barren now. It's very exposed. You can feel the cool wind. So we need all the layers, the hat, the gloves. I think the thermals will be on and off. We don't really know what to expect. The weather's changing. It was blue sky, it's now clouding over a little bit. So everything up here. This little path just skirts the stream and heads up into the valley there, and it all opens up. There's been a lot of water. We're just following this grassy path now. You can find it, but really things are quite barren at this stage, just in the foothills. Amazingly lucky with the weather today. After all the rain we've had, things are very boggy. There's been a lot of water, but we've hit lucky today. It's cool. There's a bit of a breeze coming right up my back there, which I quite like. We're starting to climb out the valley, up this gully. It's getting more and more desolate, very barren. There's nobody around. There's no phone signal. So really it's best to be with somebody. Make sure you've got something to eat. It's getting colder. It's getting windier. There's no rain yet. But if you ever want to be alone, and I mean really alone, where there's literally nowhere to turn if anything goes wrong, this is the sort of place. Just going to give you an idea of how much moisture this ground, the moss on this ground can hold. And just imagine if these hills weren't here to soak it up. I'll just show you that now. You forget what it's like to have wet feet. When we were kids, we had wet feet all the time. So we're back and forward across this little stream all the way up. You hop across, you hop back across for the path. You keep losing the path. It's a challenging walk. It's a lot more technical than just climbing up an obvious path. As you get to this wedge of earth, there's a fork. Make sure you take the right hand path. It's not clearly marked, but that's the correct route. Cheviot, 815 metres by the way, if I didn't say. It's the highest point in Northumberland. It's a gruelling grind all the way up. Interesting though, and you can see why the Duke of Edinburgh choose to do their activities up here, because it builds grit. And just a note while I remember, about your choice of walking partner. It's very important. Basically, you can't come up here and suddenly change your mind. You need somebody with you who will just keep on going. So do bear that in mind. If you think, oh, we'll just pop out for a nice day trip. And as we emerge out of the gully, finally, there's a fence there at the top which guides you. We'll turn right there and go up to a 777 metre point called Cairn Point, I think. Then we'll head across some flagstones to Cheviot. Suddenly you emerge at the top of the Pennines and the top of Northumberland. We're just going to walk up here to Cairn Hill, top of there, 777 metres, and then straight across to Cheviot. This Cairn Hill is tough. It just looks tiny on the map, but it's relentless. I think all in all, I would say on the scale This is getting up there at the top. This is 9.5 out of 10. The whole thing is quite tough. Right, we're at the summit of Cairn Hill. All the main climbing's been done now. This is 777 metres. We're going to go through that across there, and as you can see, it's basically flagstones now up to Cheviot. That's 815 metres. I'm just going to squeeze some more water out of my socks before we do this final surge. This has been tough, this. Yeah. There is this lovely shelter at the top. No wind at all from in here. You stick your head up over the edge and there you feel it. This is actually part of the Pennine Way, this, at the top. These flagstones all the way across the top. If you head south, who knows where you end up. Just keep going, I would think. What I would say about this walk, Cheviot, it really is barren up here. You know, SAS training sort of thing. Oh, just look at this. These flags are here really to protect what are called peat hags. This whole peaty area with the tufts of grass, they're known as peat hags. Feet are wet, fingers are cold. It's relentless. Okay, so it's nearly the end of May and there's some snow. I'm not surprised. This trig point at the top has had to be set in concrete according to the book because the old one kept sinking into the peat. One of the things I forgot to mention was that Cheviot has its own little breed of feral goats, little shaggy goats that are unique to these hills. We haven't seen any. You can get pictures online, but I would like to have seen them. It's a great idea, that, isn't it? Just that a whole region has its own little shaggy goats wandering around. You get rewarded with this view if you persevere and come down the far side, the north side, heading back down into the valley. You get this view of the whole of Northumberland, really, up to Scotland, the North Sea and south. Right, well, I hope you've enjoyed our little trip to the absolute peak of Northumberland. We're heading down. Probably won't come here again. Ever, maybe. Thanks, Tony. You know, it's so barren, it's not easy to get to. I'm very pleased we've done it. It's one of those to tick off the list. The views coming down this side are amazing, down to the North Sea, across valleys and hills. But there's so many other places to go, I doubt I'll ever come back to Cheviot. So, thanks for watching, and we'll see you for the next one.